on, everybody? Today I have a guest. My RA is right over here. His name is Josh, and today we're going to be talking about everything internships, networking, and basically getting a job 101. So for our first topic, we're going to be explaining our paths. So Josh, if you don't mind, can you help us understand a little bit about your educational path? I know we both started at community college.
Mhm.
Just briefly touch up on that, and then touch up on CCSU and where you're hoping to be in the future.
Okay, so I actually watched your video.
Oh, the fast food one?
No, no, yeah, fast food and software engineering. That
Yeah,
was
yeah.
really interesting because I actually my first job in high school when I was 16 was working at Dunkin' Donuts. So that was actually really funny because like
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
kind of similar. So I started out that but like I've had a whole lot of jobs, but I guess
Me too.
like cutting it short, started out Dunkin', went to Rite Aid, went to Walgreens, into community college, worked a bunch of different jobs at community college. I was a mechanical engineering major when I started college. I switched first semester, like mid first semester, because my parents they were like, "We want you to do IT. We want you to do something computer," and I was like, "Nah, I didn't. I wanted to do engineering, so computers, because that's what they always were stressing." And then I was like, "Engineering, so computer engineering. That's my current major. I'm a
Yeah,
computer engineering technology major at Central. I am currently a second semester junior.
yeah.
Um, and I guess like started out the first 2 years at Gateway studying computer engineering. In terms of my work path, I became an IT technician, and I also did a project with this program called Med Squared. If you go to community college in Connecticut, a good program to do is Med Squared. It is like one of the easiest ways to put something on your resume that gives you like work experience. They take all community colleges in Connecticut. It's
I
like,
didn't even know that. I
yeah,
never even heard about that. That's interesting.
yeah, it was something that like was really pushed by my professor at Gateway. So, and they pay you too. They pay you like $1,000.
Yeah.
So for like a simple project, it's like a research project, and you get the chance to be inducted into this thing called Epsilon Pi Tau, which is an international honor society if you do well. So I got inducted into that.
Yeah.
Um, I guess a little bit more. So went there for 2 years, took classes at Gateway Computer Engineering, switched here last fall, and that's actually how we met. We actually met in the transfer orientation
Yeah.
um, during last summer, um, and we talked a lot about LinkedIn and networking.
Yeah.
Our first semester, because we lived in the same, or we still live in the same building, but I was a resident back then, and he was on the fifth floor, I was on the sixth floor. Um, and we hung out a lot talking about networking, internships, da da da. We were applying to like the same sort of places, and we just like bounced ideas back, how the interviews went, things like that. Um, Fast forward, he ended up getting accepted into the Harvard. I am now. I got accepted to this company called FactSet, which is a fintech company.
Mm.
They're a SaaS
Yeah,
company.
software as a service.
Yeah, software.
Essentially, SaaS companies have a given software and they kind of upscale it to businesses.
Yeah, that's what we do. We sell to primarily like banks. So like Bank of
Yeah.
America, Merrill Lynch, and then also other fintech companies like um, COCC, FactSet. I mean,
Yeah.
not FactSet. Bloomberg,
Yeah.
Vanguard, BlackRock, places like that. But it's a pretty big company. They have locations all over the
Yeah.
U.S. and also over the world. I guess I guess that's a good rundown. I don't know
So,
what else.
just to touch on mine really quickly before we move on to the next point. Similarly to Josh, I went to another Connecticut community college. However, I went to Naugatuck Valley while he went to Gateway. And similar path, I did computer science there. I built my network there. I was a part of the Envision program, which basically like empowered us and like funded our education. And there were a bunch of grant opportunities. It was actually through the Envision program that I got the access to the program I'm in at CCSU called the CSMP program, which funds me being able to like live on campus and stuff like that. Granted, I keep a certain GPA. So,
What is the GPA requirement for that?
it's like a 3.0 in my computer science classes,
Oh, okay.
which is like super
Yeah, it's
attainable,
really
super
attainable. Yeah.
attainable. And furthermore, similar story to Josh, I placed a large emphasis on networking and LinkedIn and staying connected and growing professionally, which we'll get into soon. And also similarly to Josh, I started with a lot of small time jobs and Last summer I had an internship with the Hartford, and this summer, I'm sorry, after last summer, they actually chose to move forward with me and extended me a full-time offer, which I will then be starting my early career with that company as a programmer in insurance. So now onto the next question for Josh is, how do you view networking? What is networking to you, and how do you utilize it, and how can others utilize it?
So I think I'll talk about my first exposure in networking in general. So this is like social networking, not like IT networking, just to clarify. Um, so my first exposure to that was the summer before, or the summer coming into Central. I went to this thing called the Yale Innovation Summit. And this is like an event where you get to meet a lot of different really smart people from all across the world.
Mm,
That all come to Yale. Like the governor comes there, the mayor of New Haven. You have a bunch of Yale grads, post grads, postdocs from Harvard, MIT, people that are planning on, revolutionizing the world and stuff like that. And basically, they have this thing called speed networking there, and this is a really big opportunity because at the time I'm a community college student. It's like pretty big to be able to go to Yale for an event, and also because of the cost up front, it's like $500 to go, and I didn't have to pay for that because I was on a program that paid for it for me. Um, so I was talking to a recruiter for JP Morgan at the time, and he asked me for my LinkedIn. And at the time, I had a LinkedIn that I made in high school, but it wasn't beefed up, it wasn't up to date,
mm,
it didn't have any relevant information. So I gave him my LinkedIn, knowing that it wasn't good. But that night, that same night, I grinded my account. I like made sure I
That's
made
so
posts that
facts.
same day
That's
with
so
pictures
facts.
that I had. I put in my all my work history that I thought was relevant, my education, everything like that. Um, so that when he saw it, because later on it shows like in LinkedIn, it shows like who views your profile. I saw his like it doesn't say the name, but I saw his profile picture that he viewed it. So I was like, okay, now my profile is at least decent. Before it was terrible. Um,
Mm,
so that was like what really got me into it. And then I had another person who I have to credit. Uh, there was a friend named Dion. She was in this program called YSEMA, which is the Yale Summer Medical Enrichment Academy. Um, and she had been in a lot of internships. Um, because she went to this school in Alabama. Sorry, I just got a message.
no, it's all good.
But yeah, so she had just like exposed me into her networking strategies, her LinkedIn, the way she had things set up. So that really helped me in terms of building my own. And after that, I knew that like if I wanted to get if I wanted to get like internships like she did, I would have to like really grind in terms of networking, messaging people on LinkedIn. So that's how I kind of developed these strategies. And then also part of it was TikTok. I had been getting on my feed. It was a lot about internships. There was this dude. I think his name was like David New. He's like this.
I've heard of him.
He was this guy who worked for Netflix and he retired at 35. Um, and a lot of people I guess like joined the bandwagon of being a CS major through him in his page because he inspired so many college students to switch to CS that it actually caused an influx of CS majors. Um, but like that, not only him, but like just a lot of people in general talked about how software
Yeah.
engineering and computer science were,
Social media really contributed to a large influx and oversaturation of comp sci.
yeah, because it definitely wasn't as, and now that's what makes the field so much more competitive now. It was also part of so one, and that also kind of like I think in my viewpoint was one of the reasons why I chose computer engineering was because after doing more research in computer engineering, I knew that it kind of allowed me to have a bunch of different fields. I could do IT, networking, CS, yada
Yeah.
yada yada. So, but in terms of the question, how do I view networking? Um, I view networking as a give and take between two people. You know, it's when you're giving information to someone and then in turn they're giving something to you. Sometimes you don't have anything to give though, so it's supposed to be a give and take when you're networking effectively. But like when you're like just a
Yeah.
college student fresh out of college or fresh out of high school, whether it's you just graduated high school or just graduated college, you don't have as much to offer to necessarily the person you're talking to. So
Yeah.
all you can do is say you're just motivated. This is what you're doing in terms of projects. Projects are also a good thing to have.
I just want to jump in on the projects thing because Josh made a really good point of the give and take and the not having something to offer. A good way to circumvent that is actually by having these projects or having these areas of passion. Because if you can show a recruiter or somebody that you're networking with that you're strongly interested in something that you've created, that imparts them on like information that only you have. Like if you have this really niche specific project that you're making, for example, when I was doing recruitment season and when I was networking and stuff, me and my friends were also like conceptualizing and trying to create a website, and we were super passionate about it, and we had a clear vision and clear tasks on how we would basically make the website work. Essentially, it was like some sort of social media website that would like allow students from campus to campus to connect. And when I was speaking to recruiters at the time or anybody I was networking with, yeah, I didn't have the most diverse industry experience that they may have had, but I was able to kind of like talk about like how I organized the team and how I delegated the tasks and also like the vision for the project, and those things are interesting and insightful to them because they don't know about my project. I know about my project, and that's something that sets me apart from others around me. So like just placing an emphasis on like projects and being passionate about what you're doing is actually pretty important because Josh mentioned computer science is really saturated right now, and the only way to really stand out is to be passionate about it and be yourself and be different. One way that I did this with LinkedIn is I'm a photographer, so like I would take like photo shoots of us working on our research projects and put them on LinkedIn, and I would like edit my pictures, and I would do a lot of photogenic things, and I actually got a lot of good feedback from like the professors on campus, and even recruiters would point out to me that they enjoyed like the photo shoot aspect of us working on a research project. So what ways can you make yourself different? Not everybody is a photographer like me.
Actually, in terms of making yourself different, one thing for me, so I didn't have as many projects on my resume when I first started out.
Mhm.
I had work experience through like Met Square. That was something I did, and I was an IT
Mhm.
technician, but I didn't have any software engineering experience. But I think one thing that I really focused on, in terms of beefing up my resume was club activities and
Mhm.
leadership
That's
positions on
huge.
e-boards. So I hosted this event. And another thing that I think also helped get my face out there in terms of with recruiters was the fact that I invited companies to this event and it had a good turnout. So the event that I had was this thing called Minority Networking Night, and it was an event where we had five companies come out. It was COCC, Travelers, FactSet, Selective Insurance.
Was it Hartford there?
Oh, and the Hartford was there.
Mhm.
Yeah, so those are the five companies that came out. We had a pretty good turnout because this event was kind of more directed towards um, students of color or students of minority background.
Yeah.
Um, and apparently, at like a lot of companies right now, there's a push for diversity hires. So for them, they saw this as a really good thing that I hosted this event that um, they're looking for candidates from diverse backgrounds, and I'm hosting an event. So it put me on their radar as, oh, this guy, he's taking the initiative to help his community of CS and engineering students, and also he's giving back to like um like the Black and Hispanic and minority communities
Mhm.
as well. So yeah.
Yeah, and leadership is huge. Leadership is also another thing that I've embarked on. I helped facilitate the creation of a large, diverse computer science community. It's a Discord server, and I know it seems corny at first, but it's actually super useful, and it's changed the way so many students like approach computer science at this university. Right now, we have 225 members, and I think we're still actively growing, and we're working on ways to keep engaging the community. And I also use it to impart a lot of wisdom that I've got through these recruitment seasons to help educate that community. So like leadership like that also makes you stand out. It makes you a gem. So look for ways that you can lead your community. Either if you did it the official school way like Josh, or if you like leverage your social connections and create something like I did. There are many ways to accomplish similar goals. So Josh and I have done like similar things in vastly different ways. However, those two things both made us great candidates for these organizations who want talent, who have the ability to lead.
But and also in regards to what you said about the Discord server, one thing that I did do like in terms of like I guess like it seems like it's always just a social media platform or like just a way to I guess um give out information and things like that. But some of the real impact it had. So about at the time of this video, it's September 28th. I think
Hmm.
it was September 25th. The Hartford, the company he interned at, was having a recruitment event, and actually, uh, because of like him posting in his Discord server, about that event, it had a really huge turnout. There
Yeah.
was probably something around like 40, 50, maybe probably
It was
more.
like 70 to 80.
Oh, 70 to 80.
A
So
lot of
there, and
people showed up.
the room was packed in
It
terms of
was
seats.
full.
It was entirely full. So
Yeah.
like, in terms of the event, like it really had a really good turnout, specifically because of the Discord. I know that
Yeah.
Alex Martinez shouted out you and your Discord a lot because of the fact that he was being pushed out so
Yeah.
much. So that definitely had a huge impact in terms of like getting students information that allows them to come to in-person events and
Yeah.
progress their careers.
It was really interesting to see everybody camping out. Like there were so many of my Discord members just camping out like an hour before the event started. We actually flooded the event so hard that they sent out another email saying that it was unexpected for the event to be filled to capacity the way that it was, and people would get rejected at a certain point. So it was really rewarding for me as a leader in the community to see, holy crap, like a lot of people want to get engaged, and I directly helped expose people to these opportunities. And I guess on to our next point, right? If you had to start this whole journey over again, starting back from CC, what's something that you would do different? We could do one thing.
If I had to do something different, I would take less math classes.
Less
Um,
math classes.
so the reason I would say that is because like now, um, because I took like I think like three. So also, I would take less math classes and I would take placement tests.
Oh yeah.
When I graduated college, I did not have that much faith in myself as a student. Even though I had like a 3.8 GPA, my stats weren't terrible, but I felt as though since I didn't have a 4.3 and some of my friends were going to Harvard, Yale, big schools, I'm like, I'm a failure. Da da da. I didn't get accepted. I mean, I didn't even apply to Yale because I was so intimidated. I was looking at TikTok. Oh yeah, look at my high school stats. I have 15 AP classes. I'm like,
Yeah.
I took one.
And they're
Okay.
in the tennis club and they're the president of
Exactly. Like
like
I'm like they did all this stuff. I'm like I'm just a regular person. But I think I
yeah.
really undersold myself, and because of that, I didn't take any placement tests, and I started at the lowest level for math. Didn't need to, but it just like I felt as though if I failed the math test, they're gonna kick me out of college, like something like that. But now, and with my experience now, I know that one, you can't go any lower than what I started. I started at
Mhm.
099 for math. Like I really shouldn't have had. I took pre-calculus in high school,
Yeah.
and I like I
You went a
got
little lower than you should have.
yeah. I mean because I didn't take a placement test. They didn't. I don't even know why they didn't use my
Ah.
transcript for some reason. Because like I didn't do a placement test. I don't know why they didn't use my high school transcript, but somehow I
Yeah.
just got placed in 099. I got flying colors in all the classes, but it was just a waste of time. That's the problem. It wasn't exactly difficult. I would just say I just wasted my like I could have started higher and then progressed further.
Yeah.
So that's really the only thing I would do differently. Have confidence in myself starting out of college.
So starting in college, let me think, man. That's a great question. What's one thing that I would do different? Honestly, I think I would have more fun. I'm a senior now, you know, 4 years into college, and I don't know, I really grinded this whole time, and yes, I'm successful objectively, but I'm really prone to stress, and I'm constantly under a lot of stress. And as these leadership positions keep stacking on top of me, and as more and more people continue to rely on me, the stress only increases, and the anxiety levels increase. Lately, I've been working on like navigating those feelings and trying to make sense of them and be better with them and manage them better and cope better. But I think definitely if I were to start all over again, I would try to like take joy and fun seriously. because like it's really easy to get into that grinding mindset of, oh, I'm gonna be an entrepreneur, I'm gonna be this millionaire, and I'm not gonna do this and I'm not gonna do that. But I think going back, I would really emphasize also enjoying the process. Like it's not just about the process, but it's about having a process that you enjoy. And as much as I would hate to admit it, there was a lot of parts of this process that did not bring me joy. And going back, I think that I would try to achieve that. And for our last thing, what is one thing that they don't teach you in school about finding internships that you discovered?
I would say one thing that they don't teach you in school is that um, everyone is your competition. Everyone is your competition. Your friends that are applying to the same jobs as you are your competition, and sometimes it's like your friend is like asking you for advice they're like, oh, how'd you do on the interview? Da, da, da. Oh, what did they ask? You're
Yeah.
giving away valuable tips that are gonna help them with their interview and could cause you not to get yours. So you have to
Yeah.
really
Well, you got
be
to make sure you eat first
yeah,
before you
you
help
really
other
have to
people.
make sure you eat first. 'Cause
It's good to help other
yeah,
people.
it's good to help other people, but at the same time, you really have to look at the fact of, um, oh, there's Jaden. He just popped in. He's in the video. It's funny. But what's it called? Yeah, you have to make sure that you eat first. That's actually something one of my mentors, Toby, who works at FactSet, told me is that
Yeah.
like at the time I hadn't got accepted into the program, but I was already asking him like, oh, one of my other friends is interested in the program. Da, da, da. Could you help them get into? He's like, you haven't even got in yourself. At the time, I didn't get in, but I mean now I'm in the program. But
Yeah.
before, like you really have to worry about like you have to eat first. Like you can't. It's hard for you to be like giving all this knowledge, especially when you haven't done what the knowledge is asking for. Like like it's hard. Like if we didn't have the backgrounds of being in internships and having these experiences, it would be hard for us to say that oh this worked for us because we hadn't done it.
Yeah.
You know?
But now that we have something like we have ethos now what we say matters.
Yeah.
Not that it wouldn't have mattered before, but now there's an extra oomph into it.
Yeah. It's like uh, it's like appeal to authority. Like when you, it's like someone who's not an engineer telling you something
Yeah.
about a rocket ship. Would you really believe them if they were an
Yeah.
aerospace engineer
Yeah.
versus when they have that
But
degree
the
and
but
say
the
that?
second they put on their aerospace engineer hat, it's like, hold on, wait a second.
Yeah, exactly. So it's like
I think for my answer, what is one thing that they don't teach you in school about finding internships is to start early, especially in this economy. Ideally, you should be starting to learn what it is to be a professional and to like network and connect as a freshman. And I know that sounds crazy, and a lot of freshmen might not even know what they want to do. But for those that do want to know what they want to do, you should, starting at 18 years old, aggressively attempt to put yourself in places within the industry that you want to get into. It's not enough anymore in this economy to just be a senior and be like, oh shit, I gotta apply to jobs, because you will be working at Starbucks. You will graduate and you will not land at a position that you want. Something about both Josh and I are both successful young individuals, and what we have both done is we've both worked on our career development at a young age. We didn't just like hit junior year, hit senior year, and then we're like, wait, I have nothing on my resume. And it's not always like doing things, oh, this is for my resume. Josh and I were just both interested in developing ourselves and meeting interesting people and like growing and learning and being educated. And those things also coincidentally helped us become great prospects for any of these organizations. So, like I said, the message would be start early, explore. Josh mentioned that he went to a Yale event. Try to go to some events. And also stay active on LinkedIn since you're a freshman. The world is against you when you're a freshman, but there are companies that have opportunities for freshmen to get engaged. Take it seriously. Research because the money is out here. We just don't know how to get it. A lot of people don't know how to get the money, and that's why they get stuck in small time gigs. You gotta find it. You gotta want it from an early age, and you'll get it. It's out there.
another thing that you can also do is that I've learned is that joining organizations like for example, if you go to a school with an active like NESB, also just to clarify, NESB is the National Society for Black Engineers. You do not have to be black to be in that. It is for anyone, man, woman, or anything else. Um, you but what's it called in terms of that program or that organization, they fly out their students to the Nesby organization. They have like I think they have an event, a huge career fair in like Atlanta or something, and they're known to sponsor their chapters to go out there. um, and you have really big companies that go to these events. So Nesby is one of them. There's this thing called Afrotech. There's another one that's the Grace Hopper. Grace Hopper is just for women.
Yeah.
um, there's Afrotech, which I guess is directed at more minority students. And there's a bunch of different conferences that are happening around the country for people that go to
Yeah.
other colleges. But those ones that I mentioned, like Grace Hopper, and Nesby and Afrotech. If you go to these conferences, there are people that go there and they leave with a job, like full offer and everything. They literally have they have walk on interviews and they will literally give you a job at the conference. That's how big these are because one, these conferences are expensive, but if you can get sponsored by organizations or your school, you have a really good chance of getting hired on the job at like some places like Google, Facebook, Netflix, Amazon, Vanguard, BlackRock, like really big IBM. Um, and there's obviously so many more companies out there, but a lot of them like Roblox, that's another one.
Oh, that's cool.
I
That's a
actually
cool one.
just applied to Roblox. I got the assessment test. I'm probably not gonna do the whole thing because I'm interested in FactSet. Um, but like they emailed me, the recruiter emailed me, letting me know that they'll be at the Grace Hopper event. Um, and like a lot of these events, a lot of the big companies will be at, and they pay like $60 an hour for interns, not even to talk about full time pay, which is 150,000 plus.
I'm not gonna lie. With my salary, it equates to like $45 an hour. So $60 an hour is like 100 grand a year.
Yeah,
That's a lot of money
yeah, like
to be.
Roblox, I did not know it pays that much.
All
Roblox
right,
is
Roblox.
Yeah, they got money over there. I mean, it's in California,
Oh, okay.
but they
Never
give you
mind.
housing though. They give you housing.
Yeah.
Like these bigger companies, they will fly you out. They will give you relocation benefits and all that to make sure you're set. And on top of that, they're paying you. So
What should I call this video? I want to call it like 27 minutes of something.
27 minutes of
20,
networking.
27 minutes of everything internships.
Um, 27 weeks. I don't know.
You know what I
Are we
mean?
gonna edit this out?
Nah, we
Oh,
won't
okay.
edit it out. It's not that serious.
All right. 27 minutes of future. 27 minutes of
All right, Josh and I will figure out the title.
yeah.
I hope you guys watched every minute of this because I would kill to have a video like this when I was younger in my career development. So I hope you guys enjoy it and thank you, Josh, for joining me.
No problem.
More in the future. This was a very insightful conversation, and I'll see if I can get some more young professionals on this and see if I could help educate people. Cam?